right, let's get started here on number 10. I went ahead and kind of drew the squares because, again, part of our geometry essentials is that if they describe a figure, we draw it, right? So number 10, it says square x has a side length of 12 centimeters. So I'm going to go ahead, I have my square, and it doesn't need to be perfect in any way at all, but we know that these side lengths are 12 centimeters. So by the way, the perimeter would be 48 in that scenario, because why not? Just put it in there. And they say the perimeter of square y is 2 times the perimeter of square x. So we have the perimeter of square x is 48. So we're going to need to double that. So we're going to get 96 for this perimeter. Now, what does that mean? Well, if I know the perimeter, I can probably go back and find these side lengths, because basically it's 4 equal sides equal the perimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and go 96 divided by 4. And I know that these side lengths are 24. And again, the ratios are pretty consistent for perimeters. So I could just figure that out. But anyway, so now they say, again, the perimeter of square y was bigger, right? So we had our lengths. And they say, what is the length in centimeters of one side of square y? So we've already figured that out by labeling the figure as we go. So that's going to be 24, which is going to be answer choice D. So that's going to be 10. 17, we have a cylinder. Now, I did not draw this one only because it's really just talking about volume. So what I do want to do here is write out the volume formula. So it's pi r squared h. And sometimes you might be like, well, I didn't know not to draw the cylinder. Well, if you draw the cylinder, it's not going to hurt anything. But to solve this, you're going to need to do the volume. So at some point, you're going to need to write that formula out. So that's what I did. So I have the formula. And again, the goal is that you just know it. You don't have to keep going back and looking at the reference sheet. And we know that it has a diameter of 8 inches. Now, we need the radius. So in this case, I'm going to call the radius 4 because it's half the diameter. So that's going to be 4 squared. And pi is pi. And then the h, the height they gave us as well, has a height of 12 inches. So we're just going to plug all that in. And that's going to give us our volume, which is... in this case, they're all in terms of pi, so I'm just going to go 16 times 12, and I get 192 pi. So the biggest thing here is they're hoping that somebody's going to accidentally plug in the diameter for the radius, because if you did that, that'd be 64 times 12, and that's D. So we don't want to pick that, right? So just be careful, plug in the formula the way it's listed and needed to be plugged in, and go from there.